Well, here it is. We're ready to kick it off. It's the new and improved Three Guys Before the Game.
New and improved?
This?
Episode number 410. This is our West Virginia-Texas Tech football preview.
Twice the entertainment with half the effort.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to you each and every episode by just two terrific sponsors. Comax Business Systems, your full-service Konica Minolta dealer. You can visit them on their website at comaxwv.com. That's KOMAXWV.com. What do they do? Well, they make you feel safe and secure if you're a business owner, knowing that they have your back when it comes to your data, your IT, your phone system, you name it. They're the best of the best of the best. And that's just not my subjective opinion. 10 times they've been named an elite dealer by ENX Magazine, the only dealer in the state of West Virginia to have ever won the award once, let alone 10 times.
Not twice.
They're like the Boston Celtics of the ENX award, right?
Good Boston
During the
Celtics.
heyday. I mean, they just won the thing 10 times, and they can take care of it. 24/7 remote monitoring. So if you've got concerns about your business's information technology, also known as IT, or your voice and your phone services, they can do all of that, plus, of course, the amazing line of Minolta products that they sell, comaxwv.com. Also, we have a correction. Shocker. Might be the first correction that we've ever had among all 409 previous episodes. I don't think we've ever made a mistake.
No, this is certainly the first, but people should listen to this. This is a mistake that helps them.
Oh, you're not
This isn't just like a mistake. We screwed something up. We did screw something up,
Yeah.
but it benefits the listener.
Yeah, and that comes in our Burdett Camping sponsorship, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. That rolls off the tongue really nicely and sometimes perhaps too quickly. Just think what I just said. You buy an RV from them, and the warranty that you buy, or the vehicle that you buy, has a warranty that lasts forever. And they also do great promotions. You can visit Burdett at burdettcamping.com and get that warranty forever. But here's the dealio. If you remember, on Monday when we got back and did the Baylor recap, we went back and did the promotion that Burdett put out there. And at this point, I'm going to be safe and just turn everything over to the senator. So their promotion was...
Well, I think that's what got us in trouble on the last show.
So their promotion was...
Every field goal Casey Legg made,
Yeah.
you took the distance times 3,
Right.
and that equaled a dollar amount.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what we talked about.
So
So you had a
there was like
23-yarder and a 22-yarder,
130. Okay. So
right? 135 total.
Right,
we do
right,
the math right, at least
Yeah.
on that.
And we left it at that. We said,
Got
hey,
a $135 discount. Congratulations. That's
yeah.
great.
But we were wrong.
Way wrong.
So what else?
Forgot to add in $50 per extra point
Oh, geez.
for Casey Legg, which was a nice little hit. That's another $250 on top of the $135. So $385 discount is what's in play at Burdett when you purchase $1,000 worth of stuff and services.
That's what we're talking about. So if you need parts, sales, service, you spend $1,000 at Burdett Camping. They give you $385 off. Just tell them you're a Three Guys listener. Make sure you do tell them you're a Three Guys listener, because if you try to go to the counter and just say, I'd like $385 off of this, they might look at you sideways. And a guy might go back to you and say, like, well, so would I. But you got to tell them you're a Three Guys listener. That's like,
Well, I don't think he'd say, you might say that to somebody. That Burdett wouldn't. They have good customer service. They wouldn't say that back, I don't think.
probably better than my customer service. I had a bad customer service upbringing. Kids would come to the store, my dad's grocery store. They'd say, can I have a slice of pizza? I'd say, yeah. We'd say, yeah, you can have a slice of pizza. It was on the counter there. And we'd say, you want that warmed up? Kids say, yeah. I'd say, put it in your pocket. That's probably wasn't the right response.
Wow.
You know?
It's not.
Probably not the right response.
No, I don't think you should have
Probably
said
not
that. No.
Yeah, so I probably couldn't work at Burdett's counter either.
No, you could not.
Probably lead to all kinds of problems.
Correct.
Well, you've grown. You've changed.
Yeah, I've tried to change it a little bit.
I don't know if that's true.
I should add as a disclaimer before we begin, the senator, i.e. spreads. I like spreads, to be quite honest. I don't know if we can make the transition, by the way, to get it to spreads full time, although there is a movement among Three Guys listeners. They would like to see spreads become your official handle over the Senator. I don't know if it'll do it, but anyway, spreads. He was happy. You would agree he was feisty before we started to record.
Oh, absolutely.
He got a little something.
Yes.
He had a little some cinnamon in his oatmeal this morning. He was a little fired up.
There's no question.
And this comes Senator Spreads. I think that is going to be your Senator Spreads.
Senator Spreads, you're recognized.
I yield my remaining time to Senator Spreads from the great state of West Virginia.
Senator Spreads. Now, I would like to ask the witness a few questions. I have here a document.
Mr. Spreads, looking at the analytics of the Red Raiders, you came in awfully feisty today. Did you notice something that had not previously been seen in your analysis of this game that might incur one to believe that Texas Tech may be a bit overvalued at this point?
Well, there's a couple things. Let's start it this way, because I do have a bunch of numbers that we'll get into here, because I'm just confused about the line. First of all, so we'll get into that, see if we can help dissect why the line is what it is. But let me start with this. This is a massively important game for West Virginia and for Neil Brown personally, I think. We talked last week, Hop. We stopped just short of must win because it really didn't fit the definition of a true must win, but it was a big game. West Virginia had to win that. That program had to win that, and they did. They came through, and they found a way to beat what's a good Baylor team. Now you get a Texas Tech team that we've talked for 3 years now since Neil arrived. They've rolled in here with multiple coaches. They've gone through 2 head coaches. They're on their 3rd just since Neil arrived,
right,
if you count Sonny Cumbie from last year. And yet West Virginia hasn't been able to get a win over this program. After winning, 6 straight over the Red Raiders? Is that right?
It was 5.
A program you don't? Okay, 5 straight. Now you've lost 3 straight. Texas Tech comes in here, and I looked at this from every different angle because my perception going in was, okay, this should be a pretty close game. This is basically a pick'em game, right? Coin flip game. West Virginia comes in with massive injuries on the back end. But Texas Tech comes in with, stop me if you've heard this before, a backup quarterback most likely playing. Maybe Tyler Shuck gets some time this week, but probably you're going to see a backup quarterback again. You've seen that before with Texas Tech. So
yeah, and it hasn't worked out with the backup quarterback.
Old Henry Columby, I tell you.
Old Jed Duffy came in here and just started slinging
Jed Duffy. Go, never mind.
Jed Duffy was a backup that played West Virginia 9 times. Usually you get a backup once. You see a backup once. You saw Jed Duffy for 16 straight games, give or take.
Every guy they bring in.
Texas Tech backup quarterbacks.
Everyone they bring in better than Graham Harrell. No, with all due respect, Graham.
She said with all due respect.
Both of these teams have played pretty difficult schedules, both in league on who they've played and non-conference, right? Credit's Texas Tech. They went out there and played a couple difficult, NC State and Dana down at Houston. So it feels like this is really even. Let's get into the line for a minute, because this is where I was confused. The line opened Texas Tech favored by 4. Okay, maybe a point or 2 more than I thought it would, but it's tough to play in Lubbock. We know the wind is unlike any place in the United States or maybe the world. So it's difficult to go in there. I get that. But 4, okay, fine. It very quickly went to 7, Hoppy.
Huh?
That's such a fast move onto Monday. It's almost like, was JT Daniels out and no one's announced that yet? You haven't heard that, have you? When you've been sniffing around, is JT Daniels playing in this game?
He is playing.
He
yes.
is. That's a line move, Hoppy, like the starting quarterback is out, right? So it went against West Virginia. There's since been some buyback back on West Virginia. It's down to 6.5 as we record on DraftKings and FanDuel here in the state. But so I thought, okay, well, why is the line like that? That seems big. So I dove in. There's 3 sets of power rankings that I use on a regular basis just to try and get a handle on where do some of the Vegas folks have teams rated. And they're not absolutes, but they're good barometers to start. Use 3 different ones to kind of give you a cross-section and a balance. So here's what I got on that one. And I even added a 4th for this one. I went a 4th off my normal, okay? 4 different sets of power rankings.
More for hey, just as I said, the new and improved 3 guys before the game, adding a 4th.
I came out with those 4, Texas Tech, on average, 0.59 points better than West Virginia. Almost just a half a point. So even if you give them 3 for home field, that takes it to the 4. Okay, that makes some sense. It's probably how you got to the 4. Okay? How did we get to 7, Hoppy?
Mm-hmm.
What made this go to 7?
Well, you're asking rhetorically because you have the answer?
No, I still don't have the answer. I've been looking at it all week.
Well, Go ahead. You got all these numbers. I'll
No,
offer.
keep going. Go
I'll
ahead.
offer
Offer up something. This is a debate. I don't have the answer to this. I'm still trying to figure out
I'm going to
how it got to
guess
7.
a couple things. I got some numbers too, not as good as your numbers. I have some numbers too. I'm not going to get into those numbers yet, but I would suspect, obviously, there is the feeling is that West Virginia's defensive backfield is so bad or is performing so poorly that here's a team that throws for 450 yards, total yardage, 400, 500 yards a game, throws it all over the place, goes for it on fourth down, is at home, that West Virginia will not be able to contain.
Yep, fair. You know who? Because West Virginia has the worst.
And the Texas Tech is both teams are 3-3. Texas Tech both teams play a tough schedule. Texas Tech's schedule has been tougher than West Virginia's.
Has it?
Well,
Sagarin Ratings says yes. Sagarin Ratings has them the 4th most difficult schedule, but I also take umbrage with some of these strength of schedule rankings, which we'll get to.
Houston, NC State, Texas, Kansas State, Oklahoma. That's a pretty rough run right there.
Houston and NC State in the non-conference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pitt's ranked slightly in most of these power rankings. Pitt's slightly ahead of NC State. Tech slightly behind Houston. Both pretty negligible.
I'll add in, of course, Oklahoma. We know that's a patsy. That there's no faith in West Virginia on the road.
Okay, so that's a pretty good point right there. Now, West Virginia has the worst coverage grade in the Big 12 per PFF. Okay, to your point that West Virginia may not be able to stop them might be the perception. You know who has the 2nd worst coverage grade in the Big 12?
I'm going to bet it's Texas Tech.
It's Texas Tech. So I don't know if Texas Tech's going to be able to stop West Virginia. So I'm back to, all right, that seems pretty okay. Let me give you another one on your road because you may be onto something there. The last 6 games on the road as a 6-point or more dog, which West Virginia is as we sit here today. West Virginia's 0-6 straight up, all under Neal. 3-3 though against the spread. If I go back the last 10, same conditions, 6-point or more dog on the road under Neal, just 2-8 straight up. 5-5 though against the spread. 5-5, 3-3 seems pretty balanced there, doesn't it?
Yeah. I hear where you're coming from.
Got anything?
At some point, you have to put them on the table, and you have to put your flag down and say, that doesn't matter if we're on the road or not. This is the game we have to win.
And that's where this is, I think, a very important game for this program. Go win the game. I mean, there's not enough things in here. I've got 2 more categories I want to talk about. There's not enough to me that jumps. You may go get greased. You may go down there and get absolutely beat. JT Daniels might not be able to throw it in the wind. You might come back and you might lose. But this is a game. At some point, this program has to be able to get on the road and beat somebody that's not an elite in this league. All due respect to Texas Tech, this is a game and a program that if you're West Virginia, you should look at. As you look down the Big 12 and you try and identify programs that you should be better than, West Virginia should be better than Texas Tech in my mind. Should they not? I mean, that's not looking at Texas or an Oklahoma. That's not looking at even an Oklahoma State. This is a program that you should not be 0-3 over the last 3 years against. You just simply shouldn't.
I don't disagree with you.
Go get a win. Hoppy, go on the road and get a win over a team that's trying to find itself with a backup quarterback, no star wide receiver. They've got their own things they're trying to work out under a first-year head coach. I mean, go beat somebody here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. With where you are, as you said, I mean, they're your 3rd head coach, a lot of personnel changes. You should expect to go in there, and at some point, you need to win these kind of games. But as I think we've talked about before, and we'll get deeper into this, it's not a good matchup, right? I mean, strength on strength, weakness on weakness. It's not a good matchup, is it? Because of that tempo that Texas Tech uses. You know, I was rewatching the Oklahoma State Texas Tech game last night, and there are times, and I think that Dante Stills said it in the interview, where from the snap of the ball to the next snap is 20 seconds. And I count a couple times where the end of the play to the next snap is 10 seconds.
They're averaging 20. It's the 4th fastest pace in the country of any team.
And if you watch that tape, and I was slowing it down, there are times when Oklahoma State, which is a well-coached team, has a good defense typically, when the ball is snapped and there are 2 or 3 Oklahoma State players, you know, you're supposed to be lined up like this. They're going like this. They're looking to the sideline to see what the call is.
No question.
When the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
When the ball is snapped, and then they're just trying to get back in. That's a problem. Now, I mean, there's a downside to that, but that's a real problem for a defense that is not only not deep, but is problematic in the defensive backfield. That's the big worry that I have in this game. It's the biggest worry.
It's a valid worry. Here's what else. Are they undefeated?
No.
So other teams have figured out how to stop this fast tempo.
Or they've stopped themselves.
Okay, so there's the other part of this is you're going to have to take advantage here. Go for it on fourth. They go for it on fourth. They go for it on fourth. Hey, do you know they go for it on fourth down? Do you know Texas Tech likes to do that?
I'm aware of
Here's
that.
what else has to happen. They're going to go for it
Right.
at some times that are very non-traditional and put themselves in a very tough spot if you get a stop. So it presents opportunities.
Yes.
Stop them on a fourth down or two, and you get the ball on their 25 all of a sudden
Yes.
because they went for it in a weird spot. You know what else they do that can be non-traditional and weird?
What?
And it cost them against Oklahoma State. They scored to have the momentum, then tried to go with an onside kick, and it didn't work. So they're going to do something non-traditional. If you stop that, it's a huge swing in the other way
It is.
potentially.
And let me speak to that because that's a great point. Tech,
So get a stop.
Well, yes. Okay. Tech is 14 of 25 on fourth down attempts. That's 56%. Now, the fourth down where they've been successful has resulted in 65 points.
Mm-hmm.
So when they've gone for it and made it, it's resulted in 65 points. So that's pretty significant. While fourth down fails have resulted in only 27 points for the opposing team. So, Brad, back to your point, get a stop
it,
and
then punch it
capitalize
in.
on it.
No doubt.
Okay,
No
so
doubt.
there's that point. The second point related to that, Texas Tech red zone defense is ranked 119th in the country. Poor red zone defense. Teams have scored 22 out of 24 times, but 12 of those scores are field goals, which is among the best scoring defense in the country. So, Brad, get the stop on fourth down and get 7. Okay? They go forward on the 38-yard line. It's 4th and 1. You stop them, you go down, and you get 7.
And take advantage of that short field. Yes.
Okay?
You've got to use their non-traditionalness
Against them. Exactly.
Don't go in there all scared. Oh, my God, they're going to run 40 extra plays on us. We can't. Go in and get a couple of stops.
Yeah. I agree. I think that is the absolute key to the game. Get the stops on fourth down, gain field position, and get a touchdown and not a field goal.
You want a frightening statistic as we talk fourth down? West Virginia's defense is dead last in fourth down conversions. Dead last.
Fourth down
And
conversion defense?
Yeah, and 114th in the country. West Virginia's defense
What out of
says
what? What's the numbers?
7 out of 10.
Well, see, I don't think that's a fair number. Okay, that's not to me.
Oh, I don't know.
That's not a
It's-
large enough number to have a sense of West Virginia not being good on fourth down defense. I mean, I don't. What's the number?
Is that anecdotal?
Not big enough sample size.
It's anecdotal, you think?
Well, it's just not
Causation, correlation?
not a big enough sample size. But it's legitimate, just not a big enough sample size. But if that's going to be the case, if Texas Tech is going to go for it on fourth down 10 times and get it 7 times, you're going to lose the game.
Right. To your point, if there's been one continuing theme that you hear from the WVU coaches, Neil and the staff this week, the one biggest thing is what you guys have already alluded to, being properly in place for the next snap. As you said, we've seen teams looking sideways toward their sideline and the next play snap. If you get into that, you are so Scrooged, you're done, right? So their number one objective, their number one goal is to be very, very basic on defense, just to know. Like, for example, I thought that during this week that Jordan Leslie made a really good point. If the play results in a tackle on the right side hash mark, right, which makes the left side of the field the wide side of the field, I mean, you have to be cognizant of that as a defender instantly to know, okay, wide side's going to be this time, it's going to be over here. That's all they have repped this week, is just to be able to just say, okay, boom, don't try. I mean, we have seen some atrocities when teams try to match up with an offense that plays fast. And the precedent-setting case was poor Greg Schiano and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers when Rich went tempo. You remember, Senator?
Mm-hmm.
And those old boys tried to stay up with that but weren't ready, and they outthought themselves, and it just turned into a disaster, and it turned out to be just a cluster. So if there's one objective this week, to your point, you got no chance of forcing a turnover or getting a stop unless you're standing ready to play. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
A couple other things. I think, too, and that West Virginia is – Tech's rush defense is not great. They've given up 147 yards a game. West Virginia's averaging 191 yards a game. I'd like to see this – I know we want to throw it all over the place and score 40 points, and maybe we will. I'd like to see West Virginia have long drives.
No, they will.
With, running the ball and to limit the opportunities for Texas Tech and to give your defense – you're going to have a couple 3-and-outs, but give your defense some rest time because they are going to take a ton of snaps. So give your defense some rest. Maybe have a little, ball control, whatever ball control is by today's standards, and see if you can run the ball because teams have been able to run the ball on them. If I were Jordan Leslie, Friday morning after the win, I would have gone into Graham Harrell's office and said, you were there. You were there in 2006, 2007, 2008 when you were throwing the ball over the place, throwing it for 5,000 yards. How did teams defend you? How did teams stop you? What worries you? I would have started my meetings over at Graham Harrell's office.
Well, I'm sure there's some of that sharing that's going on there. There's no question about that.
All right, let's jump into 2 categories. Can I give you 2 categories here? I got more numbers here.
Well, yeah.
So, Hop, I get what you're saying with time of possession. I'm sure that's part of West Virginia's plan is to keep them off it. But here's the thing. This Tech defense gives up big plays too. So you score when you can score.
Okay.
Right? If you need 50 on this game, get 50 and hold them to 45 and get out of there with a win. There's only 2 Power 5 teams that have given up more 50-yard plays than Texas Tech. There's only 5 Power 5 teams that have given up more than 60, more plays of 60-plus yards. So you can hit them. And I think that comes down to 2 of the big keys. All right, now stay with me here because this is going to get number heavy. But
Deep breath. Here we go.
I think one of the massive keys is kind of what we were just hitting on there. Which defense can get a few stops? Both of these groups have struggled. We just said two of the lowest coverage grades in the league are playing in this game. All right. Texas Tech has allowed at least 34 points in each Big 12 game while facing the 5th, 7th, and 9th graded offenses in this league.
This is good.
It is good.
Given up 34, faced 5, 7, and 9.
They gave up 34 when they faced 5, 7, and 9.
West Virginia has allowed 38 or more points, so close, 38-34. West Virginia's allowed 38, but has faced the 1, 3, and 5.
What's West Virginia's offense rated?
6th. I might have a mistake in there, though.
Just go with it.
Only 2 Power 5 teams have a worse turnover margin than Texas Tech. You're looking for a stop? You're looking for them to go fast? What sometimes happens when you're trying to rush?
Yeah, make mistakes.
You can make mistakes as well. Texas Tech is the lowest graded offense in the Big 12 right now. Can you get some stops against that profile?
Yeah. Talked to someone this week. They said, one of the things Neil said this week was you just don't know from week to week how they're going to attack you offensively. They'll just one week they'll do this, the next week they'll do this. And one week, talked to someone, they said, yeah, they do. That's true. But as a result of that, they're not really super, super efficient in anything, if that makes sense. That's why they think sometimes they turn the ball over because, timing just might not be a little bit right. Ball goes down, gets tipped, just a little bit off because they try to do so many things, right? So keep that in mind.
Maybe, too, defensively, you take some chances with pressure because I know you got to have a lot of guys back there because they're going to have 5 wideouts. What's that mean, Tony? Not as many blockers. Like 5 guys blocking. Okay, so maybe you got to get try to get some pressure on the guy, and
it gets out of their hands quickly, though.
Does it?
And then you get into the whole thing of which quarterback you're going to see, right? You could see Baron Morton, who played well at Oklahoma State in their last game, who they are raving about. They think he is a star. You could see Tyler Shough, a transfer from Oregon, who won the job to start the season but has been injured. Donovan Smith, schoolmate of Jet Duffy, been there for 13 years. He's like 6'11", 307 pounds. I mean, just an absolute horse to bring down. So you're going to get – we had Chris Level on Sportsline last night. He said he would think, right, that we'll see multiple quarterbacks during the course of the game.
And Morton runs.
Yeah, got a little. He can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I think he had 16 carries against Oklahoma State. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
He had his last game hop. He toted it 17 times.
Wow.
For 53 yards and a touchdown.
See, that's a problem, too. I mean, when a guy can run, and obviously he can and will run, is that your defense is already tired, and I got to chase him around.
Yeah.
Quick correction there. West Virginia's faced the 2, 4, and 5th graded offenses. So the overall point still remains they face more difficult offenses so far, at least according to Pro Football Focus. All right, you want one more matchup?
Yeah.
This is one we always go to. West Virginia's offensive line versus the Tech pass rush. West Virginia's offensive line has the 6th best pass blocking grade so far on the season.
In the country?
No, conference.
Okay.
6th best in the conference. Tech has the 2nd best pass rush grade. That's a little bit of a surprise. I'm not sure we've gone into a Texas Tech game over the last decade and talked about their pass rush. So far, it's been pretty good. West Virginia has already played the 1st, 4th, and 7th highest graded pass rush teams. Tech has faced the 1, 7, and 8th highest graded pass blocking units. So I'll put that in easier terms to understand. By grade, from Pro Football Focus, this is the 2nd best pass rush WVU has faced. It's the 2nd best pass blocking unit that Tech has faced. So back to these things that kind of balance themselves out and make it feel like a pick'em game, those things are balanced, each facing the 2nd best unit on the other side. Which of those units can win? We saw West Virginia not win that battle at Texas. It lost. We saw it win that battle against Baylor. It won. Bonus points. C.J. Donaldson being back in the lineup this week, he's by far West Virginia's best blocking back. It's not really even close. So that should add a little element to that. So keep an eye on the pass blocking. Give J.T. Daniels time. Let him attack that Tech defensive secondary that has struggled. Put some points on the board.
You have to watch out for number 19 of Texas Tech defensively, Tyree Wilson. Big dude, 6'6", 275 so far this season. 6 sacks, 9 tackles behind the line, forced a fumble, recovered a fumble, and 4 quarterback hurries. Among all the Texas Tech players, he is considered Texas Tech's best NFL prospect. Number 19, Tyree Wilson. Watch out for him.
Okay, so I just loaded you with numbers. What did I tell you there that shows Tech should be not only a touchdown favorite, but one where the line jumps so quickly early in the week? Because that, if you're a West Virginia fan, that's the part that scares you. That move quickly, you should have some pause and go, yeah, I don't like to see that. I mean, what have I given you that's not pretty give and take on both sides of this equation?
Well, you're called spreads for a reason. I don't know because I don't know.
You were a 7-point dog at Texas. You're a 7-point dog at Texas Tech. What doesn't add up right there?
I guess the matchup. I guess that the odds makers or those who are betting don't like the matchup. Don't like being on the road. Don't like the matchup. I guess that's it, right? I know what you say. The stats being even don't necessarily equate to them being equal when they play each other, do they? Do they?
I'll give you another one. If you go back in and use like a yards per play metric, which is a good way to filter out, don't just go total offense. It goes in and it's a more true stat. Yards per play. If you take net yards per play, what you gain offensively per play, what you give up defensively per play. These teams are the advantage for Texas Tech. They are a net 0.02. So they gain 0.02 more yards per play offensively than they give up. West Virginia is a minus 0.13. I mean, those are very similar. If you back that into a formula that you can do to come up with a hypothetical spread before you get into home field advantage, this comes down to a 1-point spread. Again, add 2.5 or 3 for Texas Tech, you're at 4. That's where it opened. That makes some sense. The quick move to 7 was still perplexing. Again, maybe we come back on Monday and we go, yep, that's why it was 7. Texas Tech just won by 17. You had no ability to stop them. You couldn't move the ball offensively, and you got beat by 17. We may do that Monday. As I'm looking at it now, I'm still confused by the number. This, to me, is a game West Virginia can go win. I get after all of that, that's my point on this. This is a road win, and given what you have coming up with the rest of the schedule, where you still have Kansas State and Oklahoma State, still left an Oklahoma program you've never beaten. Right? Yeah. You got to go get a win here, man. You got to find a way to get a win. Okay. I'm done.
I think you
That's
did.
all my numbers. That's a lot of numbers.
I think you did really well. I think you had a
Very
good show.
well.
Don't you think you did, Hop?
Oh,
He brought
outstanding.
it. He brought it. And he was ready.
He brought it.
If the Mountaineers play like the way that he prepared and played, you got to feel good about your whole deal.
But how many times that have Brad, I would bet that you've made similar arguments for the last 3 years and maybe even said, okay, Tech's coming in, West Virginia actually is better than Tech. And then you go out and you see the game. And you go, what the heck? Tech just scored the first 5 times they had the ball.
Yes.
What the heck? Whether Tech just, who's their quarterback? We don't even know. The guy just ran. I mean,
we've had some nightmarish. You have some nightmarish games against these cats. Like the game starts and you go like,
what's going on
What the
here?
heck is this?
That's happened against. That's happened more against this team.
Yes.
Than any other team West
Let me
Virginia's
just tell
played
you
in the
something.
conference.
No doubt.
They're cutesy.
Agree.
They're cutesy to begin with, right? They're cutesy to begin with. Now throw in they've had an open date between their last game. Dude, I mean, it might be like trick shot city. Like their first play might be have the tight end go to the other sideline. The quarterback's going to throw it as hard as he can, hit him off the helmet. They're going to catch it on the bounce and take off upfield. I mean, you just wait for it.
There's weird stuff coming.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no question there's multiple weird things coming. Cliff Kingsbury used to do weird stuff, though, and couldn't win. I mean, just because you're weird doesn't mean it's good.
Understood.
Just because you're weird and line up 3 quarterbacks on one off doesn't mean it's going to work. That's what I keep going back to. We're defaulting to, oh, my God, they go fast. Oh, my God, they do weird stuff. Oh, my God, they onside kick when they should. Okay. Again, they're not undefeated. They're not undefeated. I don't know why that stuff automatically means you can't handle it.
Well, I need to go back.
Go friggin' handle it.
I should have in my research last night.
Handle it, Hop.
Hoppy can't handle the truth.
I mean,
You can't handle the truth.
I mean, I'm going to be scratching my head Monday if they go and get beat by 2 touchdowns. I get it. I just see a golden opportunity here to win a road game for a program and a coach that has really struggled on the road in this league.
Agreed.
And maybe that's the whole reason for the line. An open week in a toss-up game on the road. West Virginia's program under Neal hasn't been good on the road, winning just 31% of its Big 12 games. Maybe that's the whole reason it moved like that.
Agreed. Here's my question. Is this team, with what you've seen, is this team good enough on a week-to-week basis and consistent enough to go out and handle the weirdness on the road and get the win?
West Virginia, you mean?
Yeah, West Virginia. Now, I'm saying that you're saying it's there, they need to, maybe even they should, but is this particular team good enough to deal with the weirdness and win on the road?
It's a good question.
That's the question.
It's a good question, and you don't know the answer to that. There's no way you can definitively answer that given what you've seen.
Right.
But what I have seen is I think this offense is good enough to go handle the business against a team that is playing with some restrictions offensively that it hasn't had in years past. They generally come into this game with a couple receivers that you go, oh, man. Per Chris Level's admission last night, Tony, they don't have that. Mm-hmm. They don't have an alpha receiver. They have a bunch of different guys and a couple guys they think are going to be really good, but probably aren't there yet. In fact, Chris Level, who does radio for Texas Tech, was mentioning how West Virginia seems to have taken that leap in the receiver room, where you have a couple guys that you're like, uh-oh, which we've talked about. You, in essence, have 2 number 1 receivers right now in Prather and Ford Wheaton. Tech doesn't have that, and it's probably playing with a backup quarterback, and it might be playing with its 3rd quarterback. And its defense has struggled, and you've got a really good offense over there. I feel comfortable saying that. West Virginia's offense is really good. Go win at the game. Just get a stop or 2 and win this game.
To your point, Hoppeth, as he said, there isn't an answer to your question, but this is that defining moment, which ultimately will probably tell the story of your season.
I agree. Yeah.
If you go into here and just go, okay, we're far as away from home as we're going to be all season, we're in Lubbock, Texas, and you go in there and you find a way to win this game, these are the defining moments of your season. Turns the whole tide. So there isn't an answer to your question, but there might be by late Saturday night. You might get it. You might get it. You know what you're going to get right now? On 3 guys before the game? 1, 2, 3. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. As you continue around the dance floor, it's couples only skate. Couples only skate at this time. Couples only skate.
That tells me you actually have gone roller skating.
I was a DJ at a roller skating rink.
We were back in
Lockport, yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Couples only, huh?
Yeah.
Did you have the black speed skates, or did you have just the brown that you rent?
Brown that you rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had rent.
I wanted some of those black ones so
Did
badly.
you go skating rink?
And Dad would never give in. Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Skate West.
Skateport in
Skate West.
Skateport in Lockport, New York. Skateport.
Big skater.
Couples only.
Oh, I was
couples
so giddy
only.
when I could do the backward skate around
you
there.
could do-
Or
you
then
could
the
skate
front when you
backward?
cross it over.
Oh,
You do your
really?
feet and you cross. Oh, big into skate. That's why I wanted the black speed skates. Could never lobby hard enough to get them.
I've skated at the Berryville, the Berryville skating rink, of course.
Fine rink.
The Moonlight Serenade,
Of
last
course.
skate.
I never told you guys when I was a DJ at roller skating rink. So the facility just opened, and I was among the first to be hired, and so they didn't give us a good explanation of how to use the audio system. So we just maxed the thing out. I mean, everything was just full up, right? And we blowed up the speakers, the cardboard or the paper that's inside of a speaker, around the speaker.
Yeah.
Crushed
Shredded it?
Shredded it.
Not good.
At
On the
that-
new system.
At that time, another one, Bites the Dust by Queen, was big, and
yeah,
that
big.
bass,
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, so we blowed it all up. They had to put new ones in.
Why'd skating go away? Why'd roller skating go away as an activity?
It really did, didn't it?
Yeah. This
I
totally,
think it was, well, I think it
What
was.
happened? That
I
was
don't know.
big.
It was. I'll have to find out what happened. Let me do some research.
Why?
The,
Because
did-
kids stay home and play video games.
They stay home and they pretend they're skating.
They have VR.
On the-
Yeah, they
VR skating.
They VR the game.
Did you have a guy with a whistle, like in case you were skating too fast?
Oh, yeah, besides I had to be a skate guard,
You
too.
always got, you
Skate
always
guard.
got-
I was also a skate guard. Keep it moving. Let's go. Let's go. Keep it moving. No standing around the exit. Let's go. Oh, yeah.
No whiplashes. Don't do any whips.
Yeah, that was.
Did the limbo out there?
Did what?
Limbo? I could never participate. Still wasn't flexible then, still not now.
What?
I just
Oh,
watched
the
that.
limbo.
Limbo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, limbo, reverse skate. Right, go the opposite direction, you reverse skate.
Reverse. You did do a
Oh,
lot
I
of
was there
skating.
a lot. Loved it. Skate West.
You want
Shout
to
out Skate West.
You want to know another dirty secret? On Friday nights when the place was just packed, probably over capacity, right? We would put on AC/DC and just bang it as fast as we could and all skate just to watch people wipe out.
All skate.
Because there's always those kids, right? They're zipping. They're really good skaters.
Yeah.
They're going through
Yeah.
people. And then
Yeah, no
ultimately,
question.
it's kind of like car racing. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, Bobby's coming around, turn two, can't get by him. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Now I want to go skating. Did you ever get a blister? I got a blister on my foot one time like that big.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Standard.
Um,
Standard. Just had to fight through.
we begin on our texts with the
Get through it.
official music producer of Three Guys, David Saab, writes in. Glad you guys like the new song. The sample is an Otis Redding classic.
Oh.
The absolute funniest part of the podcast was Hoppy saying he is peaking.
I agree.
Glad he didn't peak in high school. Those people are the worst.
For nearly 40 years, a man hosted a local radio talk show.
He's very well known.
A man in Morgantown, West Virginia. A man named Hoppy.
Hit it!
Hoppy. This is all very peculiar for me. The Mansion Whisperer. I can tell my Hoppy story now. Oh, yeah? You got a story about me? Yeah, what's up with Hoppy? I can't believe it.
Day after we recorded the last show, I was shaving. I went to my phone. I played it.
You just want to hear the song?
I just wanted to hear the
It's
song.
a good song.
I was like, I'm shaving to Hoppy.
This will be on loop and blast when we unveil the Kurtz of Ale at the grand opening party for that.
Yeah, that's coming. Yeah,
This will be his walk-in music.
Here he
Like
is, ladies and gentlemen.
he won't be standing in there. He will come from parts unknown, walk up to this song.
Probably from behind the bar.
Probably.
Like no one will see him. And then,
Come
ladies
out
and gentlemen, are you
carrying
ready?
the first Kurtz of Ale.
Play this for all skate.
Everyone in the ale house going to be going like this.
This would be a good all skate.
Would be a good
Slow
all
it
skate,
down
yeah.
a little bit. You could,
But you could.
Yeah. All right, let's jump in. We got a lot of texts. We begin. TC, you mentioned Demas's food truck located off the Saltwell Road exit in Bridgeport.
Demas food truck.
Joe Demas is a client of mine and has the best Italian sausage hoagie around. If you let me know how many hoagies you guys would like in the day and time, I'll deliver those to your studio.
Now we're talking.
Also, I would need to know if you want hot or sweet Demas peppers and cheese on the hoagies.
Sweet.
Hot.
Both. I will
And-
even
and
throw in
cheese.
a side of Metamucil for hoppy, hoppy, hoppy. As everyone knows, I love the show, especially the ball-busting unkerchable.
Is that the one that's by the Exxon?
Yeah, exactly right.
yeah.
Near the Dunkin' Donuts, the red truck. It's got some lights on it.
It's West Virginia.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why
No,
you
if it
know
was
the
West
Demas
Virginia,
food
it'd be, is that the one where the Exxon used to be?
truck. The old Exxon was?
Yeah. Is that the one where Mrs. Johnson used to live?
Yeah. Texter says, did you guys see that Kevin Jones scored 50 points in the game in Japan?
How many?
Oh, I didn't.
50?
Didn't know that. Remember I mentioned Gary Brown on Sportsline. Gary's playing on the highest level of Australia, made his season debut last night.
Heard you say that.
He had 9 assists in the game. His team won by 20 over New Zealand. Lined up, beat New Zealand.
And you and Hunter were saying we forgot about him.
Yeah, Gary Brown just kind
We
of,
forgot about him.
he was, take him. Two guys, there was no Two Guys podcast on Friday while Tony was on vacation. And to that I say shocking. Yeah, we did explain that. Take a look for those of you that are watching in. Taylor, go ahead and put that up, graphic. There it is. It says, The Flock, it's beer 30. Beer makes me hoppy. Right there. It's already starting to build across the nation.
Where is? I mean, what is that? Is that
Just a sign, probably at some brew place.
Feels very beachy.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you had a crab cake sandwich, a couple of beers.
Yeah. Texter says, Mike in
Shrimp
Parkersburg.
scampi. Oh. Fish sandwich.
Crab legs. Hush puppy.
Breaded calamari.
Sweet potato fries.
Oysters Rockefeller.
Coleslaw.
Old Bay seasoning.
Big lemonade.
Key lime pie.
Keep going. Hurry up. Get going.
Mike in Parkersburg.
Hello.
Tony spreads and Hoppy to the third. I got to take some serious issue with Tony's way too easy explanation of fans jumping on coaching staffs for a drop here or a bounce of the ball there when it comes to wins and losses, especially with Mountaineers. I totally agree. If West Virginia was 21-5 the past few years and you get a bad bounce and a fumble or a stupid penalty or an interception, you won't have fans calling for the head coaches. That's ridiculous. But we're talking about a guy who's 20-21 at West Virginia, and those isolated plays are not isolated. They're the norm, unfortunately. I've been to all of the games this year, and yes, the VPI and Baylor wins were great, but you're talking about a horrible Virginia Tech team and a Baylor team. It took 4, 5 if you count the blocked extra point, just to literally squeak out a win at home. You're talking about fans overreacting to a couple of bad luck plays at Pitt and Kansas is crazy, because over the past 3.5 years, those bad luck plays have been the norm, and the good luck plays we got last Thursday has been the exception by far. So while I agree you can't control the occasional bounce of the ball, you can 100% control your own luck by better preparation, better in-game decisions, and better overall coaching. I think, Mike, my point was this. My point was not luck. My point was this, that there is an incredibly fine line that determines a win and a loss. And that was my reference to the both Kansas game and the Pitt game. In other words, you were there for it. So my point is incredibly fine line, and certainly is to your point. West Virginia has not had bounces go away, but my point is that if you can take that understanding that we're talking about zero margins that determine these things, I think you would agree that West Virginia was right there to win the Pitt game, right there to win the Kansas game as they got it to overtime. So that's my point. Every week, whether it's West Virginia or whomever, most of the time it's razor thin as to who wins and who loses. That was my point. You remember when we had the question about what would you rather see, a massive win or an ass whooping? Mm-hmm. And there was a question as to the inflection or the context of the question. And the texter said, you read it correctly, Scopes. He was saying, what would you rather see, West Virginia pound or West Virginia win?
So it was a win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Texter says,
I like it when you lay wood.
Well, I don't know who wouldn't. That's why I thought the question went the other way. I mean, of course you'd rather.
I mean, just like 40-7.
Although we said last time, that was an incredibly
exciting
entertaining game.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, against Baylor.
Recent episode, we received product from the state of Vermont, and it was revealed, probably brought back up, that Hoppy hates the state of Vermont. And the texter writes in, it was a year ago this exact week, 21 October, and we were on our baby moon meandering through the Northeast and texting in from Vermont. I went back and listened to that episode. It was the TCU preview where Hoppy exhibited some frustration at me for not being in the mountain state enjoying the fall foliage, but I think it might have been brought on by my wife calling you guys idiots. She did later recant and mailed some Vermont maple taffy. Maybe lay off of Vermont. It is really a beautiful state. One thing I didn't notice until I went back, Tony bestowed upon me P1 listener status during that exchange. Thanks, Scopes. Let's go Mountaineers. P1 Garrett in Alaska. P.S. We will be in the mountain state for Thanksgiving. I will be sure to get an Alaskan care package to you all when we are there.
Awesome.
Two things. I don't think I ever said I hated Vermont. I think it was about fall colors in West Virginia. And just today on my public affairs program, I had State Tourism Secretary Chelsea Ruby on the show, who said there's a consensus that this year's fall colors in West Virginia are the best in a decade.
They have been nice.
They've been very nice.
Still hanging on, too.
Yeah.
Not totally gone yet.
Yeah.
I will say this, well documented, my wife doesn't listen to the program.
Well
known,
documented.
yeah.
Well known.
She was very excited to see the maple syrup arrive back in the house. Might be the only thing we've ever done on this show
She
that
liked
actually
it.
gave her some joy. Yeah.
Have you used it yet?
Huh? No.
Used it yet?
No, it's not out yet. In fact, I think she took it. I don't even know where it is. I might not get to try it.
Good.
She's very excited about that.
Get up
Awesome.
Saturday, have
So
some
thank you,
pancakes
Garrett.
before.
Wait till we get them.
Or waffles,
Wait till we get them sausage sandwiches.
French toast.
A little bit on your big old ice cream sundae.
French toast sticks.
What kind of ice cream you have over there, Karen? That's a
Eggs
vanilla hoppy.
Benedict.
Well, Karen, put a little bit of that syrup on there. They say this one here, the light-colored one, is for the ice cream.
By the way, I've been called out because I grew up saying syrup.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, my wife
Yeah.
crushes me too.
My daughter hammers me about that.
Yeah, you say syrup?
Yeah, I'm syrup.
Yeah.
Just like I say, Syracuse.
Syracuse
Ser.
instead of sear.
Instead of sear.
Syracuse. So you're on the syrup. Wonder why that is. That just
I don't know,
so
but
it's
I'm
not
with you.
regional, obviously. since
Syrup.
You say syrup.
Yeah, I'm
Tony,
syrup,
what do
like
you say?
S-I-R.
Tony, what do you put on your waffle?
Sir.
Syrup?
You
Joan crushes me on syrup too.
You say syrup?
I must, yeah.
Is it a male thing?
But you say Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse. Syrup.
Syrup.
Sir.
Maybe
Syrup.
it's just lazy.
Yeah, might be. Yeah, but I'm with you. I'm syrup.
Texter, three
Nuclear.
guys. Three guys. Hoppy, Hoppy, Hoppy is trending on Apple Music, one would think. I couldn't tell you the last time that I heard a song for the first time and started doing the steering wheel dance. The song has the potential to be big, like played during basketball warm-ups big.
Oh.
I never thought I would hear a song about Sandwich Guy and love it. P.S. Amarillo by Morning is the great King George Strait.
Ah, thank you.
Thanks, and look forward to number 800, Big Dancing Guy in Mullins.
He got your reference.
He got it.
Even if
Amarillo
we
by
didn't.
morning. And shoot, now I forgot. Just a little bit south of Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
Oh, geez, now I'm going to look it up again.
Texter, what happened to Tariq Austin Cave, transfer linebacker from Miami? He's starting to get into the mix. Injured for the good chunk of the first half, but starting to get snaps.
Sonny James, south of Saskatoon.
Beautiful. Texter, hey, three guys. I'm glad we got over the big win over Baylor. Can't wait to take on the Red Raiders Saturday. I'm a teacher at Oak Hill Middle School, Fayette County. I was discussing recent college football rankings with some students. One student brought up the Buckeyes ranking and how good they were. So naturally, I inquire about their recent opponents, which triggered these students to go through the Ohio State football schedule. In the end, one student looks at the schedule and says, "Who is the Rutgers? I've never heard of them before." Question gave me a great belly laugh, especially since the Rutgers have been discussed on this podcast. Thanks for everything you three do, and let's go Mountaineers. Tie in Oak Hill.
I'm guessing the student probably said all due respect after he said, "Who is the Rutgers?"
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Seriously. Middle schooler, like, who is the Rutgers? Yeah. Receiving information here on my phone text. Senator, Spreads,
Yeah.
you apparently have been texted the Burdett promo for this show
Wow.
on the fly. Texter,
Live.
This is interesting. Hey, guys.
Ooh, it's a good one. Okay, go ahead. We'll come back to that. It's a good one.
Hey, guys. I discovered your show about a month ago and have been loving it since. As a younger Mountaineer fan, 22 years of age, I would love to hear you all reminisce on some of your favorite moments throughout time that remind you why you're proud to be a Mountaineer and a West Virginian. Thank you, Miles from Bluefield. Hoppy, was it that first time you saw Rat Rogers' team?
I remember when the Snakes took on Washington and Jefferson. Boy, oh boy. The
Elkins YMCA, biggest kids you've ever seen. Couldn't get around end.
You know, I don't know if there's one thing. It kind of comes for me at weird times. I can't. I'd have to think and see, was there any defining moment where it just was the essence of being a Mountaineer fan? But as a WVU graduate, a West Virginia native, and a Mountaineer fan, there are just moments. And sometimes it's just a play in the game. Sometimes it's just a fan reaction. Sometimes it's a win or even a loss. It's just, I never know when it's going to come. But it comes, but it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling because at those moments, I feel connected to my university and my state. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. To me, it's the wins where you're not supposed to win. That's when you get the great sense of pride where, like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. It's the Georgia Sugar Bowl victory. It's the Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl victory. It's the Big East basketball tournament championship. It's the beating Kentucky in the NCAA, beating Chris Paul in Wake Forest. Those are the ones where you're told, no, you can't do this, that make you feel the most proud as a program and as a state. Because it's been documented on this program with a population of 1.8 million people, this is a super hard job. And that's, to me, the moments.
Did you read my notes?
No.
3 I put down, Hop. What's that say? Can you read it? Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, UK to go to the Final Four. Those are my 3 game moments, Tony, for all the reasons you just said. The other one that I would say outside of a specific moment like that, my favorite times when I worked in the athletic department were after a win, didn't matter who it was, immediately following Country Roads, like the very start of Country Roads and the very end of it as people kind of cleared out, and I'd always stay till there was no one left in the stadium. And just sitting in the stadium after a big win, those are priceless moments. I do miss those times. Those were the times where you went, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty good place.
Mm-hmm. I remember the LSU basketball win with John Beilein in Baton Rouge. They had won just a tremendous number of non-conference games. We went in there at I think it was a noon start their time, and John
Brady.
Yeah, John Shady Brady, and Glenn Baby Davis was a freshman. And we ran our stuff like perfect. Those boys, they didn't know whether to wind or watch or comb their hair. We're backdoor cutting them, and their heads are just spinning. And that was a nice one.
Yeah, it was nice.
They
still aren't sure what was being run on them.
We did that too to Oklahoma, when who the heck was their coach before we joined the league. We played.
Was that in Oklahoma City?
Yes, exactly right. I mean, we backdoor cut them. They didn't know. Was that maybe our boy up the road here? Is that Pitt now?
Capel?
Yeah.
Could have been. Those two standing, and that happened to Southern Illinois in the NCAA tournament, and poor Chris Lowry,
yes,
who was in this league for a long time. He's still not sure what was being run on him.
It might have been Kelvin Sampson. Maybe, I don't know, at Oklahoma. Anyway, John from Nashville. 3 guys. After watching JT Daniels conduct several press conferences, I am convinced that he could give clinics to other student athletes and pro athletes on how to effectively communicate with reporters. First of all, he is completely present during these interviews. He is all in. He is thoughtful, thorough, and consistently provides meaningful, relevant information. No pat, cliche answers. Always authentic and wicked smart. Through his demeanor, I can tell he respects the reporters and feels an obligation to deliver serious responses. And he does all of these in rapid-fire fashion. His cadence is crisp and tight. No wasted moments. It is truly a delight to watch this young man in action. He is a breath of fresh air.
I tell you what, he's been fun to watch this year.
Yeah, really good.
I mean, to come out, and we talked about it last show, but that Baylor game and to throw that pick, didn't see the guy, threw the pick, and then to come out the very next series, drive down the field, win the game.
You got onions, man. You got onions.
Texter's right about his interview, though.
Yes.
That's a good summation.
Well, we've already proclaimed him.
Yeah.
Greatest
Best
ever.
interview ever.
Yes.
Greatest interview ever.
Yes.
Texter, Amarillo by morning is George Strait, but you can hear the reggae band doing Don't Worry, Be Hoppy. When you are out somewhere and scared to death, don't worry, be hoppy. Imagine retaining the possibilities. Mike and Buchanan.
Here are
by
the
Myrtle Beach.
Oklahoma coaches. I mean, what era was this?
So John's first couple of years, I'd say like two or three or four.
So Kelvin Sampson,
Yeah.
Jeff Capel.
Capel. What year was he?
2006 to 2011.
That would have been later.
Lon Kruger.
Right, Brad?
Yeah, it might have been.
Might have been right around
2012 to 2021.
Might have been Capel. Texter, here we go.
Joe Ramsey. John McLeod.
P1
Bob
Jason.
Stevens.
Wayman.
Bruce Drake.
Wayman Tisdale.
Stacey King. Mookie
Mookie,
Blaylock.
I was going Mookie. Mookie Blaylock, fantastic player.
Billy Tums.
Porter Moss.
Peter Moser's a good coach. P1 Jason in Dallas.
Tanner Groves.
That brother. Bring that little kid brother with him all the places. Kid brother hurt us bigger than Tanner did last year. P1 Jason in Dallas. Longtime listener, 214th time texter. So now it's scopes, spreads, and third tit.
Oh, jeez.
I love the dairy commentary. People aren't kidding when they talk about dairy farming being hard work. I worked on one for 2 summers in high school. Biggest mess I've ever seen was when one of the cows decided that while in line for the morning milking, it was time to have a calf about 8 feet from the door to the milk house. She just plopped down while the other 200 or so cows behind her obliged and just went around, popped out the calf, engaged in placenta, whatever, near and just went on her way. Didn't even make a sound. What a trooper. That was somehow only the second grossest thing for me. Among my other duties was occasionally assisting in the artificial insemination of a cow.
Yeah.
My job was just to hold her rear legs as best I could to keep her from kicking the guy whose job it is to drive around to farms with jugs of bull in his car and seal the deal.
Yep.
The moment the guy put on the latex glove that extends all the way up to his to his neck,
No, then it gets all the way up in there.
and it has on an apron that goes down to his toes, I knew I was going to need a couple of showers.
Yes.
Oh,
Here's what they do.
What has just happened?
A couple of cow stories.
Oh, jeez.
Was he finished? I'm sorry.
He says, love the show. I'll see you guys at the Pancakes. I'm having breakfast with him Saturday morning.
So artificial insemination, which is what, I mean, you think of fertilization as use a bull, but most dairy farmers, I think, use artificial insemination. So the vet has the semen, and then he puts on a glove that literally goes up to their shoulder. And he goes all the way in, gets it like this, gets up in there, and gets it right where it's supposed to be, but he's all the way up in there. Get it. Then when cows come in to be milked, they're out in the field, but they wait until they get into the barn, and they all start to pee at the same time. And let me tell you something. When a bull pees straight down or a steer, but a cow, pees out the back, and it's like a freaking fire hose. No, it is. And they're all in there, and they start peeing at the same time. It's like multiple fire hoses.
Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Probably didn't see that one coming on your bingo card.
Oh, this podcast
What do
never
you
ceases to amaze.
What do you think on this P1 Jason in Dallas on this breakfast deal we're doing Saturday?
I can't believe you're going.
Do you think will he live up to his billing, or is he just going to be like, and athletically, like sometimes you got a great athleticism, but when you join the team, you just never able to meet what you were supposed to be on paper. So on paper, this dude's like really good. Like, is this going to be a breakfast where like he sits down, I say, hey, yo, what's up? And like 2 minutes in, I'm going, this is freaking terrible.
I hope you don't disappear.
No, I think you'll be fine.
You think he's going to be?
I think it'll be.
You think he lives up to his billing? we're gonna guffaw and we're gonna yuck it up.
Who's picking up the check?
I think he'll bring his A material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the check.
You are?
Yeah, I'll pick up the check. Won't be a problem. Take
Where are you
care of
going?
The Pancake House. It's like this.
You
it's
taking
like,
your maple syrup with you?
No,
Syrup
no,
with you?
no. It would be similar to Ruby and Ketchy's.
Okay,
This place.
okay, yeah.
It's got a U-shaped counter.
Oh, okay.
And these cowboys,
Big giant pancakes, like
Yeah.
size of the plate.
yeah, literally these cowboys have breakfast there every morning at 6 a.m. Some of them are
Yeah.
ranchers, some of them the former bull riders, pro rodeo guys. Dwight Wallace hooked up with these guys first year we went there. So we just show up all the time. We sit up there, yo guys, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? What's good? You West Virginia guys? And we just sit there and yuck it up at
That's
the
in
U-shape.
Lubbock?
In Lubbock. Right near where we used to stay, the Elegante Hotel, which was anything except Elegante.
Yeah.
Worst hotel in the circuit. We don't stay there anymore.
Where
It's
do you
terrible.
stay?
It's one of those places where you get out of the shower and you feel like you have to shower again.
Oh.
Who was coaching? Dana? Because didn't Dana like stay in Louisiana or something?
No, Dana stayed at Elegante.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of those places where he stayed like 4 states away. And
So you
drove in.
guys think do you think Jason will be cool?
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right. I hope he is.
You know, I've only been to Lubbock one time, but interesting flying in. I just remember that it's completely flat, and there's like roads are like this. And it's flat and makes sense.
I mean,
It's just like, so somebody says, out there, if you go, where's it? They go, oh, it's north. No, it's south. You don't do that here.
it's a lot bigger place than people
Can't do that
think.
here.
Can't do it. Is it? How big is it?
Hey Siri, what's the population of Lubbock, Texas?
I guess it's like 200,000-300,000, right?
257,000.
Nailed it.
Yeah, pretty big. Texter, let's say Texas goes 10-2 and wins the Big 12. That would likely put them at least in playoff discussion. Do you think when ESPN shows their resume, they'll include Charles Woods, DNP, next to the WVU game?
Thank you.
Also,
Exactly.
you guys say there's always a West Virginia connection.
a great
Well,
point.
this is not one of those,
Collison,
as I am not
DNP.
from this state. So I guess this would be more aptly labeled a three guys connection. But one of my former high school wrestling coaches is an assistant strength coach at Texas Tech. Needless to say, I'm hoping the Red Raiders win their last 5 after a loss Saturday. Thank you very much. Texter, the voice, the gambler, and the dean. I keep hearing about how Texas Tech averages 87 snaps a game, almost more than an entire NFL game. Yet, if you take out Murray State, they only average 28 a game, a TD less than West Virginia does without the Towson game. Would think with our ability to run the football that playing that fast could be a huge advantage for West Virginia. Also, I get that Tech has played 5 straight opponents who had that little number beside their name when they met on the field and played them tough. All but one team is pretty good and still ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all of this and despite the Big 12 running through Lubbock, that the Mountaineers' motivation for having taken 3 straight on the chin to the Red Raiders will be a crucial factor in this contest. Feels like everyone wants to write us off. Hope we just don't write back just like Gino. Oh, yeah, P.S. Tony, your comment about I don't care what we wear, just make sure that they have big numbers made me chortle. I've called baseball my whole life, but this year I've done my first set of high school football games on a broadcast stream, and nothing could be more true. Just give me big numbers. Signed, Blaine on the porch. Dear 3 guys, this is Mike from Parkersburg. You may remember me for such contests as West Virginia versus Baylor women's volleyball first to send the picture. I wanted to remind all of my fellow loyal listeners just how great the crew and the sponsors are of this program. I received my signed Warranty Forever WVU backpack cooler this week and couldn't be happier. I'm going to hang it in my man cave as a 3 guys time capsule filled with a signed copy of Where, Oh, Where Could We Be? That's my book. Plus a Subway gift card and a WVU NCAA champion futures ticket. That's awesome.
Very good.
So obviously the bag's got there. Or I'm just going to fill it up with cheap beer and ice and enjoy. Thanks for going above and beyond in the hours of entertainment. Signed by Mike.
I was thinking about Jet Duffy, and I get curious, like, what happened? Can I just tell you this? Or do you know?
Is he playing somewhere? I think he's playing somewhere.
2020, Duffy announced he's transferring to Tulane.
Good Tulane.
Yeah, they gave it a good
very
Tulane.
good.
On January 8th.
Tulane.
On January 10th, this is Wikipedia. On January 10th, he announced on Twitter he would open his transfer again and not go to Tulane. Over a week later, he said he was transferring to Central Michigan.
Why not?
However, Central Michigan denied Duffy admission. After that, he enrolled at Hampton University.
This is good.
But shortly after his arrival, it was announced the school would be canceling all fall sports because of COVID.
Sweet mercy.
So he went to the Canadian. He played for Hampton in Canada at least one game, and I don't know what happened after that.
So he went Tulane, Central Michigan, Hampton.
Yes.
Is he in the CFL?
Well, the only thing I see on Wikipedia is one game with.
Is it Hampton, or is it a Canadian Hampton? Did he go like across the border to play college football? Is it HMPTON?
It's HAMPTON. Is that a college?
Yeah, Hampton down. Yeah, in Virginia. My man Jet. He pulled a Jarrett Kearse. He pulled a Jarrett Kearse on that one. Jarrett Kearse, Mountaineer point guard, played till he was 33 years old at 13 different colleges. Appeared on a
And 4 of them after being on a reality show
he was
on
on
MTV.
a reality show, yeah, and he still played. He was way ahead of NIL. Last text. Scope, spreads, and hoppy. This is Mitch from Buchanan. I feel like we are not discussing the most important topic on your show. What's the latest on the hoppy beer? Can you reveal who the brewer is? The people demand answers, not just we're efforting. Looking at you, Spreads.
Spreads busted.
Come in here demanding things.
I can speak to this. Spreads was not available for the meeting.
What's the texter's name?
Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch. Wasn't involved in the meeting.
The initial meeting I had was with Grace from the Apothecary Ale House and Bill from Chestnut Brew Works. It just happened that Hoppy walked by while we were having the meeting, and the meeting was after 5 p.m., so it was a shock that Hoppy was still in the building.
Stop.
Well, you're normally gone by 5. Well, hell, you get here like 4 or 5. I mean, I don't know why you got to be embarrassed that you're leaving at 5, company man.
I do get here early, but
Anyway, make my oatmeal, my eggs. So Hoppy did come in, made a cameo to the people there. It was either the next day or 2 days later. Brad and I had another meeting with a consultant who is a Fortune 500 director of marketing for a major multinational corporation who just happens to be spending a 3-month sabbatical in Morgantown. He's a friend of ours, and he is
Elon Musk?
No, I'm being serious. I'm not BSing you. And so we shared the idea, and he went like, you could just see right, Brad? You could see it in his eyes going like, okay. He, matter of few days later, sent us a business plan of how to do this thing the right way. So we are in the process of putting the pieces together.
And I think that's probably the last update until the thing comes to fruition. You give a lot of information right there.
There was a lot of information.
What's the timeline?
Not finalized at this point, Hoppy. Thanks for asking.
What are the odds it's going to happen?
I think pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think pretty good. Yeah, I do. Pretty good.
And we're doing the apothecary?
Looks like that's where it's going to be.
Well, we'll see.
Oh.
Possibility.
We'll see.
All right.
Do we want to even should we, if there's a WVU student who's a marketing major, do we put that out there? Because if you have a WVU student right now that's a listener, that's a marketing major, that's looking to join our team in an internship role, would we put that out there or not?
We'd accept inquiries.
I think that's
evaluate inquiries.
So if you are a marketing major at WVU and you'd like to be involved in the Hoppy launch promotion, send us a text with your resume and your reason as to why you want to be involved at 304 304-404-4083. Text us at 304-404-4083. Explain to us why you think you could be that intern that could help this project. It'd be invaluable for us because then you could high step into class and just say, look what I did. It's going to be a big thing. This will have all different elements to it. Yeah. Well, I think
the team's really strong too, led by the 5-star recruit we picked up.
So he would be
transfer portal.
Like, if you were to put him on a recruiting service as far as his acumen and his background, he would be like top 3.
Are you not revealing who it is?
No.
He
He already gave too much information right there.
top 3 in the country. I'd say he'd be like, if we signed him, if it was an athlete and we signed him, like ESPN would have it on the bottom lower third, like 3 guys before the game signs blank, blank, blank to promote event. It would be like 5-star, like elite.
I mean, he's so good. If the NCAA still had rules, that would trigger an inquiry.
Mm-hmm. How'd you guys get him?
Yeah, it would
Exactly
trigger an
what that
inquiry.
would do.
Kercheval. That kind of level.
So I shouldn't tell you that I've gotten inquiries from John Thornton about representing me on this beer thing.
You can.
John trying to move in, huh?
What's that?
Yeah, we can
John trying to move in.
entertain
I like
John.
that. That would mean you would be represented by Rock Nation.
Which is right in your brand, because when I think of Jay-Z, I think of
For
hockey.
nearly 40 years, the man hosted a local radio talk show.
He's very well known.
A man in Morgantown, West Virginia. A man named Hoppy. This is all very peculiar for me. The Mansion Whisperer.
All right, man. Y'all be good. Got a lot coming at your way on Monday when 411 comes out. We'll recap the Texas Tech game, and I'll let you know how things go with Jason, P1 Jason in Dallas.
Take a picture.
I hope this thing doesn't become like a fatal attraction.
Better be a win recap on Monday.
Brad
with
has
Win.
put down a marker.
At the very least, cover that sub.
First thing I want. First thing
Somebody
I
might
want
have an interest.
I want to win on Saturday is I hope I don't have to go, hey, Jason, while we wait for the food, I'm just going to go to the bathroom here and then hit out the door. I hope it doesn't turn out to be that deal.
I don't think it will.
I hope he's not like a stalker or
Hope
something.
you don't end up in the trunk of his car.
All right, man, we're out. Thanks for being with us.
Wrists tied behind your back.
Our producer, Tyler County, Jacob Jingleheimer Smith Kennedy, out.